Good morning, everyone. My name is Brittany, and welcome to the Dairy Leaders of Tomorrow virtual farm tour. We are so excited that you are joining us today as we not only tour a dairy farm, but also explore careers in the dairy industry by meeting a few dairy professionals who work with our dairy farmers. So this morning, we are visiting the dairy farm in northeast region of Pennsylvania called Four-Zag Hill Farm. Four-Zag Hill Farm is a fourth generation dairy farm with approximately 70 cows. We will learn about the farm's compost bed pack barn, cow comfort, manure management, and their commitment to environmental sustainability through their conservation and nutrient management plan. Farmer Rosalie has experience with business planning and financial management in addition to dairy production and managing the farm. Without further ado, we are going to kick off our virtual tour today, meeting Farmer Rosalie. Good morning, Rosie. How are you doing today?
Good morning, Brittany. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm really excited to have you today, and we cannot wait to see your farm. So go ahead and take it away.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Northeastern Pennsylvania. You are in Columbia County. We're right outside Berwick. I am fourth generation here. I graduated from high school and I went to Penn State and I have a degree in animal science. After college, I moved, I worked for a large dairy farm as a herds manager for 2 years, and then I moved back home to take over the family farm. So during that time, I also work part-time as a analyst for Ag Choice Farm Credit. So I do cash flow planning and budgeting and benchmarking programs for Ag Choice. In 2015, I took over the dairy farm from my mom and dad. And then I purchased this farm that we're here right now from them. And then I built this facility to move all of our cows up here. And basically the number one goal was to improve cow comfort as well as to improve labor efficiency here. So this building was specifically designed for our cows and how we like to work with our cows. This whole facility can be run on one person. Right now we have it's me, my mom and my dad that run this facility. My mom and I do 100% of the cow work, and my dad manages the crops and the manure management here. My mom takes care of all the heifers and the calves, which are at our old location, which is about 3 miles away. I also do the outside work here. I manage the bedded pack. I feed the cows. I also do all the record keeping and the book work. So like I said, I'm fourth generation. I have 2 younger brothers that are not on the farm here right now, but they do help out when they're available, mostly with the crops, but sometimes with the cows. I grew up showing and in 4-H and FFA and really enjoy that. I still do some showing. And we also have a classified registered herd of cows. So, that is important to me to keep breeding and family lines and genetics in the Holstein breed. So I guess what we'll do here is we're going to start our tour, and we're actually going to work from backwards to forward. So I'm going to show you where the milk leaves the farm first. So come on with me.
Awesome. And I know you said you were in 4-H and FFA, and I believe we actually have a few FFA groups with us today watching live. So hello to everyone while we're making our way in. I see some folks from Florida, some folks from North Carolina. So it's great to have you all and exciting to have some FFA groups on here.
Awesome. So here we are in our milk house. So we have a 2,700 gallon tank that it is bigger than what we need right now. We ship about 1,000 gallons of milk every other day. We purchased a bigger tank just for, I call it my insurance policy, because if we have bad weather or what have you, we can still store milk and not have to dump any milk if the milk truck can't get here. If you want to pan over to there, we have a wall of my quality awards here. We've been fortunate that we've had gotten bonuses and awarded for our quality here at the farm for many years. This is just the 6 years that we've been here, but we've had awards for the past 20 plus years with my parents being involved. So if we come here, this tank here is called a bottom fill. So most tanks you see will fill milk from the top. Ours actually fills from the bottom. So this pipe connects to the tank and the milk flows into the tank from the bottom. I tease people because they say, the milking equipment guys did this for me because they know I'm short and they don't like me to climb up on the tank. So I appreciated that they thought of me whenever they did this as a bottom fill instead of a top fill. If we come this way, we have a plate cooler, which is cooled by cold well water. So the milk comes in through the pipe from the milking parlor here, runs through these plates, and then comes out at the top and goes in the tank. So this cools the milk from the cow's body temperature at 101 down to about 60 degrees, and then the tank takes over from there to keep it cool. So then we'll go through here. This is a wash system that washes all the pipeline. And then in here, we call this my special needs area. This is where the cows have their babies, and if we have a sick cow that we need to take care of. These calves, we are all within about 2 weeks to a little over a month old. They're hanging out up here right now because we're currently out of space at our heifer's facility. But normally they would leave here within about 2 weeks of them being born, and they'd go down in individual hutches at our other farm. But like I said, these guys are hanging out. Looks like Cutie wants to come say hi. All of our calves are named, and they have, they'll end up getting their ear tags and their identification soon, but she's gonna eat you guys. So like I said, these guys are 2 weeks. The ones over in the far pen there are around within 2 weeks old. These guys are a little older. And then we'll move into here. So this is our milking parlor. And it is a what they call a double 4 step-up parlor. And I have a cow here that will demonstrate how we milk for you. If you just want to hang out there, we'll bring her to you.
Oh, awesome. So we get to see what it looks
this cow's
like. Very cool.
So this cow's name is Leah. She's 7 years old, and one of the babies in that pen is hers. She just had a calf about 2 weeks ago. So the cows walk through this little gate here, and then they can pick where they want to go. And I'll see her to go up into a stall here for you. Come on. And she's being shy. Come on. So they she wants to say hi.
She's curious what's going on.
I can get her to come up in here for you.
She's confused. It's not
Leah.
not her normal time of being milked.
No, it's not. She wants to take a nap.
Right. They have routine, right? They like doing things at their time and when they're used to doing everything.
So they step up in here. And she'll come up, shut that gate.
Okay.
So she shuts that gate on her own. Then we get started to milk here. We use what they call an iodine foam dipper. So there's some little bit of air and iodine in there that we use to put on their teats as a disinfectant. Now I want this on her since she's already been milked, but this will clean it off or put it on there to help sanitize her teats. And then we wipe them off with a paper towel and we put the milker on her here. These milkers, we identify each cow with a number. So we put their number in here, and then these milkers keep track of their milk weights and how long they've milked, and it actually stores it in my computer. So I can keep track of how much each cow milks. And then whenever, if they get sick or whatever, computer will flag it and not reaching their milk production. So we have easy access to the records to keep our cows healthy, and we can watch that information. Also, these milkers too, if they don't hit a expected yield every day, these milkers will flash red and tell us if something is wrong. So when she's done milking,
Gotcha.
and they're for about 5 to 8 minutes, we will dip them with this pre-dip, or this post-dip, I should say. That's a barrier dip, and it keeps everything nice and sanitized until the teat end closes, and it'll keep bacteria from entering her udder. And when she is done, we'll let her out, and she will go out on her own, and she will go right back out to feed.
Wonderful.
So
Farmer Rosie,
we'll
we're
just let her.
oh, there we go. I was gonna say our video was frozen there for a little bit, but I think it's coming back now. So
Okay. So we'll come out here a little bit, try to get better service.
yeah,
Parlor, we can milk. Can you see me now?
I think
The
so.
parlor we can milk. So the parlor we can milk 8 cows at a time, and it usually takes us about to milk about 70 cows. So if we walk out here, we'll talk a little bit about our bedded pack. So our cows are housed on what they call a compost bedded pack. So our cows are laying on a mixture of manure and sawdust that is being composted. So it actually heats up and breaks down all the bacteria and stuff that's in there, and keeps a nice dry bedding for the cows to lay on. We only put sawdust in here about once a week, and it's a very small amount of sawdust. Right now, there's probably 6 months of manure in that pen pack right now. We use it as a manure storage, and we only clean it out about twice a year. But as you can see, it's fairly dry and keeps the cows fairly clean. The other interesting thing about our barn here, it's naturally ventilated. We designed it for maximum airflow without any fans. So we get a kind of like a tunneling and a chimney effect here with the airflow coming from any direction, and it flows up and out the roof. And in the wintertime, it acts like a chimney and pulls out all the odors and the heat out of there. So the cows, they have as much access to feed and water as they want. They can lay however, wherever, whenever they want. And you can see they're pretty calm and chilling there, just enjoying their breakfast that they had this morning, and relaxing for the rest of the day. We do milk 2 times a day. Like I said, we're currently shipping about 1,000 gallons every other day. And what we noticed moving the cows into this facility, that we did get increased milk production because the cows are more relaxed. They can do whatever they want, and we don't have to interact with them so much. So the cows are being fed a mixture of corn silage, 2 types of hay, and grain. They get fed once a day, and they're eating about 100 pounds of feed per cow per day. So we, definitely try to keep that fresh and in front of them at all times. And so I don't know if you can see.
Just a pause there. You said 100 pounds of feed a day is what you're feeding per cow, correct? So
yes.
And you have about 70 cows that are, so that's a lot of feed. For anyone that feels like doing the math, that's a lot of food you're mixing and making every single day. That's incredible.
Yes. So, and I don't know if you can see over there in the feed alley there, but we do have a spinning cow brush that I think it runs 24/7. The cows love it. It keeps them nice and clean, and they like their back scratched, just like a massage that they get anytime they want. So, and then the other thing that's unique about our barn here is that we do have a gravity flow manure system that we have, and we can walk over this way and we can show it. We designed this so that it would keep liquids off the floor. We don't have an alley scraper. So in this barn, we put a pipe in the middle of the floor that's buried right in the center, and we have these slats. So as we push the manure with a skid loader and a tire, it falls down in these slats. And then whatever's left, we have a hopper at the end of the barn, which is a big pit that it goes down in there, and it gravity feeds into a manure pit. So this barn is on a slope. So if a cow pees or they drinking water and splash it, it will run down into those slats instead of staying on the floor, and actually keeps their feet drier and cleaner, and keeps the barn cleaner as well. So that was the design that we did. Like I said, this whole barn we designed for our cows and how we like to work with our cows. And so far, everything's worked just like we thought and how we planned, and we really love it, and the cows really love it. So I guess if there's any questions, I'd be glad to take them.
Yeah, no, that is incredible. First of all, that design of that barn, who did you work with to come up with that design? Was that kind of something you guys knew you always wanted, or was there a team that helped you build that? Because that seems pretty ingenious, very simple, but yet still makes a lot of sense and allows you guys to really take care of your animals very well. So it was kind of that thought process of building that.
Right. So we had cows in an older barn when we had big cows, and I wanted to have a place that we could have big cows that could still, move and not hurt themselves, and they could kind of hang out for as long as they wanted. So we actually worked with Penn State Extension, and then I did a lot of my own research on compost bedded pack barns. Kentucky seems to be the ideal leader, and the research is coming out of Kentucky, so we were able to adapt it here in Pennsylvania. And then also my dad is also an engineer. So between my dad and Penn State Extension and myself, we were able to come up with this building. And like I said, we toured a lot of barns and saw a lot of stuff, and we were able to put bits and pieces from different facilities into this to make it to what we want.
Awesome. So it really was a team effort, you
Yes.
as a farmer you have to be very smart to come up with this stuff and know what works for your cows, but then you obviously also have a team you rely on that can help you kind of bring all those pieces together. That's amazing. We do have a couple of questions that have come in. One question was, how many pregnant cows do you have on the farm at any given day?
So ideally you want to keep like 30 to 40% of your cows pregnant all the time. So right now we have about 45% of our cows are pregnant. And that's something that we've been able to keep consistent with in this facility. The cows show better heats and they seem to be more fertile. So we're not pushing our cows to get pregnant, but they are, the reproduction here is very good in that we can maintain that 30 to 40% pregnant at all times. And that keeps our milk production consistent through the year. So we don't have major influxes like in the spring versus the winter and the summer.
No, absolutely. That makes sense. And as you said, you're not pushing those cows. It's a very animal instinct, natural thing to be pregnant once a year. Think about any wild animal you ever, they have babies once a year, and it's very similar to you guys. And you're just following that natural pattern of having a calf once a year. And is that pretty average, right? About one calf a year? Do you ever have twins or triplets or anything like that?
Yes. So I've never had triplets, but I've had twins. I probably have 2 or 3 sets of twins every year. But yeah, so right now our average calving interval, which is the time between that a cow has her calf from one to the next, is about 13 months. So on average, our cows are having a calf every 13 months. And that, like I said, again, that's to keep our milk production consistent. So our cash flow is consistent when we have to pay our bills every month.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, these animals, they're animals, and they're part of an awesome business, and this is their career, just like we go to work. Maybe some of you guys work at the local restaurant or a teacher. That's your job. These are their jobs. This is their career, and Farmer Rosie takes really good care of them and lets them have an awesome day all day, every day at their career. So some other questions that we've gotten so far. How old are cows when they start the milking process?
So we try to have the cows have their first baby when they're 2 years old. So we are breeding them for the first time around 15 months to hit that when they turn 2, that they have their first calf. And as far as right now, the oldest cow I think I have is about 10. She is dry right now. She's actually going to have a baby here in about a month. But we have a lot of older cows, and that was the driver of building the barn the way we did, because we had a lot of older cows that we wanted to keep and keep them comfortable. So we have a lot of cows that are 7, 8, 9 years old right now. And then we've had them live into their teens. I did have a cow that lived to be 17. So, you know, they do have a long lifespan, and if you take care of them and give them all their needs, they will live that long and possibly longer.
That's awesome. That's an incredible age. And I know, you know, to some of us, hearing 15 months or 2 years, it's like, goodness, we can barely even walk at that age. But you know, they're very mature, and they're at that mature age of, you know, a 20-something-year-old of an adult by then, right? Like that's cows naturally just mature a lot faster than humans.
Right. So a cow is mature around 4 years of age. So, you know, we have a lot of older cows, but we also have a lot of younger cows too. The cow there that you're looking at, her name is Sarsaparilla, and she is 2 years old. She just had her calf about a month ago, and she is currently milking about 75 pounds. So, you know, she is one of our immature cows, but like I said, she's 2. But the red cow that you saw previously, she is about 4 right now. She's had 3 calves, sorry. And she's milking about 95 pounds. So she's just right there at the cusp of being mature. And if you want to see definitely a mature cow, if you want to come over here, this black cow here on the end, this is one of our older cows. She is 8. Her name is Gorgeous. She's probably one of our favorites. She is 8 years old, and you can see that she still is very healthy, youthful looking. I think, you know, she'll be around for a couple more years yet, because she can do whatever she wants and is very comfortable here.
That's awesome. And she is beautiful. She is definitely gorgeous, as you said, and I know that's her name, so it fits her well. We do have a couple questions here. We've got about 3 minutes or so to take some of these questions yet, and then we're excited to get going to our first professional that's on your farm. So a couple other questions that we've had so far. Do cows ever escape from their pens?
Unfortunately, yes. And they seem to do it at night when I'm the only one here. So yes, they do. Cows are very curious. And if you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. So you have to make sure all your gates are latched, and I actually have to keep the doors shut to make sure that if they do get out, they can't go out and roam. So yes, they do get out.
That's funny. Darn little things. They like to be curious, just as you can see, you know, they're looking the phone and looking the camera and getting very curious. So another question, this is a great question. Someone was wondering, and I think this is from Alva School in Florida. They asked, how much money does it take to maintain the barns and broken panels and fuel and fans and things like that? Like, what's the maintenance like on a farm?
Oh, goodness. That is a very good question, and it depends on the farm. I think every farm needs to keep that maintenance budget in mind. And, you know, typically it could be, you know, it could be 5,000, it could be 10,000. I don't think you can definitely put a number to it, but you're always going to have those maintenance costs that you need to keep. And honestly, I can't put a number to that, because you know, stuff breaks and you have to fix it. So you know, we can usually keep tabs of what it costs to feed the cows and what it costs for our supplies and everything else. But when it comes to those maintenance things, you know, stuff happens, and you just have to fix it and keep rolling.
Right. You do what you got to do, and absolutely. But you're talking, you know, potentially tens of thousands of dollars throughout the year. They really are loving the camera.
Yeah, and it definitely depends on farm size.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So just a few last minute questions here that can have short answers before we head on over to our professionals. What time do you get up in the morning?
Oh, I get up between 5 and 5:30 every morning.
Gotta milk those cows, right? It's an early morning to the day, and probably a long day too. So what time do you milk in the morning, and then what time does that mean you milk at night?
So we typically milk at 6 and 6, and it takes about an hour and a half. So, and it just depends how many of us are here. Like I said, one person can do everything here. So I can milk the cows in about an hour and a half by myself. If I have help, we can get done in a little over an hour. So,
Awesome.
but yeah, it's early mornings and late nights sometimes.
Yeah, I bet that. And then 2 more questions. What is the average cow's temperature?
So a cow maintains a temperature of 101.5 degrees. They don't register a fever until they hit about 100, 103. A baby calf typically runs a little higher, around 102. So, but if they raise much of above 102, we consider that a fever, and we will treat them with medicine as needed, depending on what's wrong with them.
Okay, very cool. And my last question for you, they were asking, do they get to live in the comfy barn all day long, or do they ever go out on pasture or anything like that?
So these cows stay in this barn all the time, but when they are dry and we're not milking them right before they have their calves, in the summertime we have a pasture at our other facility that they'll hang out down there for about a month, and then they'll come back up here to start to work again. So yes, they do see some pasture time, but these cows that are milking are on this comfy pack all the time. That way they have access to the feed and water, so they can stay comfortable and make milk.
Right. No, that absolutely, that makes sense. Wonderful. Thank you so much, Rosie, for taking some time to answer our questions.